They make your sneakers, your car, maybe even your suit. But 8 decades ago, these brands weren't just building products, they were fueling a war. What you're about to hear isn't in the company brochure. These are the stories of top brands that collaborated with the Nazi regime. When Adolf Hitler seized power in 1933, Germany was crippled by economic depression. The Nazi Party promised to restore the nation's former glory. This vision required massive industrial output, and that meant enlisting the support of German businesses. Some companies were eager participants, drawn by the promise of lucrative government contracts. Others were pressured into compliance, fearing the consequences of resistance. Regardless of the motivation, the result was the same: profits intertwined with a regime built on hate and oppression. Today, Ford is a global automotive giant, synonymous with American ingenuity. But its founder, Henry Ford, harbored a well-documented admiration for Adolf Hitler. Ford even received the Grand Cross of the German Eagle, the highest medal Nazi Germany could bestow on a foreigner. Ford's German subsidiary, Ford Werke, became a crucial part of the Nazi war machine. It produced military vehicles for the Wehrmacht, the German armed forces. During the war, Ford Werke relied heavily on forced labor, exploiting prisoners from concentration camps. After the war, Ford claimed ignorance of the atrocities committed at its German plants. However, evidence suggests a much deeper level of involvement. The company eventually paid compensation to former forced laborers, but the stain on its reputation remains. IBM is a technology behemoth, a pioneer in computing and data processing. But in the 1930s and 40s, its punch card technology played a sinister role in the Holocaust. IBM's German division, Der Homag, provided the Nazis with the means to systematically identify, track, and categorize Jews and other targeted groups. These punch card systems were used to streamline the logistics of the Holocaust. They helped the Nazis organize train transports to death camps with chilling efficiency. Without IBM's technology, the scale and speed of the Holocaust would have been unimaginable. While IBM has acknowledged its involvement and expressed regret, the controversy continues to haunt the company. Critics argue that IBM actively profited from its collaboration with the Nazi regime, enabling one of history's greatest atrocities. Adidas and Puma are two of the world's leading sportswear brands, rivals born from a family feud, but their origins are rooted in Nazi Germany. The Dassler brothers, Adolf and Rudolf, were both members of the Nazi Party. Their factory produced footwear for German soldiers during World War II. The Dassler brothers initially worked together, but their relationship soured after the war. They split the company, creating Adidas, Adolf Dassler, and Puma, Rudolf Dassler. While both companies have distanced themselves from their Nazi past, the historical connection remains undeniable. The Dassler brothers' involvement with the Nazi Party is a reminder that even seemingly innocuous businesses can be complicit in evil. Oil was the lifeblood of the Nazi war machine. Without a steady supply of fuel, Germany's military ambitions would have been impossible. American companies like Standard Oil, now part of ExxonMobil, played a controversial role in supplying the Nazis with this vital resource. Even after the United States entered the war, Standard Oil continued to supply the Nazis through neutral countries. This clandestine trade helped to sustain the German war effort, prolonging the conflict and contributing to the immense suffering it caused. Shell, too, had executives sympathetic to Nazi ideology. The company's involvement in supplying the Nazis with oil is a complex and controversial issue. It raises questions about the ethical responsibilities of corporations during times of war. Hugo Boss is a luxury fashion brand, known for its sophisticated suits and elegant designs. But in the 1930s and 40s, Hugo Boss was the official supplier of uniforms for the SS, SA, and Hitler Youth. The company's factories used forced labor to produce these uniforms. The Hugo Boss brand became inextricably linked to Nazi propaganda. The uniforms it produced were symbols of terror and oppression. After the war, Hugo Boss apologized for its involvement with the Nazi regime. However, the company's past continues to cast a shadow over its present. The association with Nazi uniforms is a reminder of the dark side of fashion and the dangers of unchecked power. After the war, many of these companies faced scrutiny for their collaboration with the Nazi regime. Some were forced to pay reparations to victims of forced labor. Others underwent internal reforms to address their past failings. However, the question remains, what responsibility do modern companies bear for the actions of their predecessors? Should these brands be held accountable for the sins of the past, or should they be judged solely on their present-day actions? These are complex questions with no easy answers, but it is important to remember the past, to learn from its mistakes, and to ensure that such atrocities never happen again. So the next time you wear a designer suit or drive a luxury car, should the past matter? Should we boycott brands with tainted histories? Or is it enough for them to acknowledge their past and strive to do better in the future? The answer is up to you, but it is a question worth considering. The choices we make as consumers can have a powerful impact on the world. If you think history like this should never be forgotten, hit subscribe for more hidden truths. Let's keep the conversation going and learn from the past to build a better future.